At 870 Simple Street North, it's called Fire Patrol. They'll recharge. You bring them in and they'll recharge them. What they do is they take this top off and they'll dump out the help me here, Scotty, I'm losing the words.
Fire recharge.
Dry cam, sorry. They'll dump it out because it's been sitting for a while, like I said earlier, it gets caked. Bless you. So now it's no good. So what they do is they'll just completely dump it out, clean it out, reinstall the dry cam with new dry cam and pressurize it.
Hey, Wayne,
Scotty?
we used to have guys come to the fire hall all the time, ladies, gentlemen, you know,
Yeah.
they thought we did it. There is a certain level though at which it's cheaper to buy a new one than it is to have it serviced.
Is it to have it recharged?
Yeah,
Is
and
it?
some of the sizes, as you just talked about, unscrewing the top, some of them don't come apart.
No, they're just plain.
Yeah, they're
once
disposable, one
we're-
use, they're thrown away,
Yeah.
they'll buy a new one.
Yeah, we're living in a disposable society as it is, yeah. So you can, that's good to know, I didn't know that, because all the ones that I've dealt with, and we were the same way, people used to come in and bring their extinguisher, think we would charge them. Now, we as firefighters were fortunate enough, we used to take them up, anytime we had to take the trucks up to the mechanical department, we always knew what they were going, we'd bring our extinguishers in and they would recharge them for us. But you can go to the place on Simcoe Street and they'll do them. See?
Years ago, they had peroxide extinguishers. Do they still have them?
No, they don't have peroxide. What they used to have years ago was pyro. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyway, there's a name that what they use. It's a chemical that they use back in the old days for dry cleaning, like drapes and a lot of things. And
Wasn't it hydrogen?
it was hydrogen was used in that. That's what they used in it. And it was. They found out it was basically deadly.
Oh,
So that's why they stopped it.
That little one for the car, would a hot day like today affect that at all?
No, no. It
What's
wouldn't.
one that size worth?
This one, you know what, they vary. I was looking at Canadian Tire the other day on their flyer, and they had them, you can get them anywhere from $30 to $75. It just depends on the size. And you can buy the small kitty ones, it's like a cartridge. It's you know, like you say, you can keep it in the car, it's a one-time deal. If you have a small electrical fire and you put it out, like Scotty says, you throw it away and buy a new one. If you watch the sales, Canadian Tire have pretty good sales on them.
Friday night in GM, they used to use them to cool the beer.
I don't think anybody drank it, Jan.
That was the foreman.
You know all about that.
How long will they last under different circumstances, you know, like in the home or in a place that freezes? And how do you know if they're dead?
You'll know if they're dead by this little indicator here.
Oh, okay.
This will dissipate. It'll come down into the red, which means it needs to be recharged. And going back to the days when we used to recharge them, they would just look at that and say it's undercharged. Okay, let's just get rid of it, put a new dry cam. But like Scotty was saying, now they're just like get rid of it. But the dial will tell you.
Okay.
See, in commercial, the fire prevention have to come around, whatever their timetable is here, and check them. That's why you'll see, if you look on the back of these tags, it'll show the date that they inspected it and the inspector's initials or number, whatever they use. Then you know it's been checked. Now, if this is undercharged, they'll take it off the wall. And they'll notify us, or they'll notify the church that you need to get this extinguisher recharged or replaced.
So how long will they normally last?
I've had this one about 5 years, and it's just getting to the point where I should have it recharged. And it's in my shop, and my shop is insulated, and so it's pretty dry in there, and it's heated all the time, so it lasts a long time. So, Rick,
Where would you dispose of them?
I would think that the people who do the recharging may take them off your hands, or you take them to the dump.
When you go up to where you go to the transfer station, there's a big rack where you can put the propane tanks.
Propane goes into the same.
Yeah, the fire extinguishers up where the hazardous materials go. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks, Scotty.
I've got 2 or 3 of these older fire extinguishers up the cottage, and all of the gauges are in the green, but I would bet that 1 or 2 of them are at least 20, 25 years old.
I'd have them recharged, or get new ones. Because sometimes the gauge will sit in there, and it's probably, you know, it can be a false sense of security that says, oh, it's been charged, it's green, I've had it 25 years, never used it, it's gotta be good.
Is there any way of using it for 2
Yeah, you can
minutes
try
and
it.
then still having it effective for the next fire?
Depends on how much you use. I would, if you wanted to use it just to spray it to see if it'll come out,
That's what we used to tell people, go out, and
Yeah.
if it's that old and you're not sure, take it out and
Yeah.
practice with it.
just take it
So
out.
you'll know what to expect if you ever have to use it.
Yeah, exactly, because, see, one of the things that we found that when we did the fire prevention week, when we had the executives from Xerox and IBM, like, don't take this the wrong way, the people who are not trained, and there's Scotty and myself and Ron and Fred, were trained in it, so the average Joe is nervous. Everybody is petrified of fires. So if you got a fire and all of a sudden you got to remember to pull the pin and walk yourself into it and keep spraying it sideways. That's okay for the guys who are trained and the people who have used it. But you get a gender that's panicking, that's where you run into problems. So like Scotty just said, take it out in the back of your cottage and, start a little fire and just kind of give it a practice. And if you run out, okay, you know what? At least you've learned something. The extinguisher's been sitting there for 25 years. You probably paid next to nothing for it. If you take it out and you practice and you run it out, it's a well-spent money to learn how to use it. And then use it in a non-emergency situation. When you have to use it in an emergency situation, you have that confidence. It's like when we joined the club. Some guys didn't know how to use a rudder. You use it a couple of times, you get confidence and you feel comfortable with it. So it doesn't hurt to practice. And like I said, the worst you can do is use it up and get a new one. I see a hand up. I don't know if the canister itself has a limitation. This one is up until, this is the tag that they put on there. It's a certification program that they use. But as far as the canister itself, I don't know if it has any bearing on whether it's going to get weaker. I don't think it will, because these are pretty heavy. So, Mike?
That's a pressure vessel, and it should have somewhere a stamped date on it. And they're only good for so long, and then they need to be re-inspected.
That's because of the pressure. Okay.
10 years, I think.
Is it 10 years? Get ready for it. Sir, at the back?
Mike,
Mike?
out of a 5-pound bottle, when you squeeze that handle, how long do you have? What are you gonna get, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute?
I think you're going to get more than that. Depends on how effective you use it. I mean, if you squeeze it and you spray it all in one spot, you've lost a lot of your.
Yeah.
What-
But if you're doing it properly, what do you?
I would say maybe 2 minutes around there, Scotty.
Yeah, I'm gonna say minute, maybe.
Minute, 2 minutes. Bit.
If constant on, 1
Yeah.
minute, yeah.
Yeah,
We usually teach people to do it little bursts.
yeah. If you get a little burst and then you can see that the flame is starting to die down, and then you can just work yourself into run.
When you're using these fire extinguishers, make sure that you have a way out. So make sure the fire extinguisher is at the door, so that you have an exit plan. In case something goes wrong, you can get out. Don't get don't get yourself between the fire and the door.
That's a good point, because I was talking to Scotty last week about it, and I'm gonna do it one day this week or maybe next week. I want to put this extinguisher up higher, because somebody mentioned here a while ago, do you know where the extinguishers are? And the answer was, well, I think it's over there. Well, this one's been down, it's low, and again, Scotty and I talked about it, and I don't think there's any limitation or restrictions to how low it should be or how high. But my thinking is, if it's up higher, you're going to be able to spot it. If you were standing here and there was a fire, and if this extinguisher, I think Margot might croak, that bracket for that extinguisher is close to the garbage can. So you couldn't see it from here. But if you're standing over here and it's up higher, then you're going to be able to spot it. So you're not going to panic as much, because panic will set in, and then you start to you can't find the extinguisher, you're going to really panic, because now you want to get your ass out of here. Rick?
You're saying that, you guys, professionals that were trained in it properly, and the average Joe's gonna be a little nervous. I don't think I'd be as nervous as if I had your big suits on.
No, if you had the proper gear, no, it's true, you wouldn't be, but I mean, the guy that's in the office or the guy that's here in his t-shirt and his shorts, Dave?
You're saying about having the fire extinguisher visible,
Yes.
which I think is a damn good idea. But I've noticed in Walmart, I don't know what other stores do this, but on their supporting I-beam pillars, they've got these bloody big signs, red and white arrows pointing down
Yeah.
towards fire extinguisher.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point, I've noticed that, and they have them up where they can be seen.
A lot in the big buildings, they've got the red light around the post. So any fireman can go in and see the red light, there's a hydrant there,
Yeah,
and they tell where it is.
yeah. Margot?
I had an episode happen when I was in university. I was over at a friend's place and she got called and went out. She apparently said to me before she went out, "Do you want popcorn?" Well, she didn't know. Put this much oil in the bottom of the pan. And I was using her sewing machine, I had my head down. And I just leaned, I was sitting, so I just kind of stretched my head and the whole house was in smoke, just boiling to about this level. And I approached around on my knees and grabbed my hand in the towel and took it and threw it out the front door. As I threw it out the door, it just burst into a wall of flames.
That was your, yeah.
So the thing I'm saying is, even though they should be high, they shouldn't be that high, because if you get an oil fire, I couldn't believe it, this 2.5-story house was just full of smoke down, and it came in an exact layered level. And I was just able to crawl around on my knees to get out of there and get the oil outside.
But going back to what I said about the oil fires, you know, we used to get a lot of kids coming home from school before when they come out with the deep fryers, and kids would do it. We had a guy set the fire hall on our station on fire one day. We had to set it on fire twice. And both of the times was we used to have an old pot, and you guys probably had them as well, it was full of grease. Guys want to make French fries, crank it up high. When it starts to boil, I come and put my potatoes in. And this one shift, they did that. They got a call. They got a two-truck. It's a two-truck station those days. You got 2 trucks out, and the second truck got sent back. On their way back, they read, "Your Northwood Fire Department, we have a working fire." Oh,